you get the feeling, right? I mean, how often have we lifted 20 kilograms? Yeah, I always have that with these calibrated ones. My God, if you take them like that, you know.
Morning, guys. What better way to start the day than watching Urs and Marcus roll chain legs? But yeah, as you can see, this morning we're on the walk pad, not outside. It was spitting a little bit, raining a little bit. Didn't really fancy it. So yeah, pulled the walk pad out. This is why having a walk pad's ideal, man, for times like this. So yeah, but I'm right. This morning routine so far. Took Charlotte to nursery. But so what I like to do in the morning usually is I'll get up, I'll go for number 2, and then I'll weigh myself. If I wake up and I don't need a shit straight away, then what I'll do is I'll start having my morning shakes. So if I haven't had a shake, what I'll do is I'll do 0.5 litres of water, so like 500 ml of water. Put my creatine in that, my glutamine, apple cider vinegar. I have LFG in that, and I also have my greens powder in that as well. And then usually after that, if I haven't had a shit already, I'll need a shit. I'll have a shit, then I'll weigh myself afterwards and just take off the half a kilo that I've just had from the fluid. Bam, yeah. And then what I'll do after that is I make my next shake, which I'll put a little bit of magnesium in it, and I'll have the hydro collagen, which is pretty much electrolytes and collagen, and I've just had that here whilst I've been doing this cardio, as you can see. But what I've started doing, what I've implemented, I say I started doing it in prep really, but I've just been super consistent with it for the last 3 months now, and I'm going to carry it on through off season. So what I do now is every morning before I do my cardio, I've been doing I do a minute plank and then a minute sort of like, I call it a leg plank, where I just sort of like lie on my back, legs up to sort of like 30 degrees I bet, and just make sure I've got that tension on my abs. Then I'll do a minute rest, and then I'll just repeat that again, the minute plank and then the minute leg plank, or the leg raise, whatever you want to call it. And then I'll do my cardio, and then like I said, before I start every session now as well, I start off with abs of some sort. So I'll usually do 4 sets of something. Yesterday I did 2 sets of leg raises and then 2 sets of decline crunches, and I usually shoot for like 15-20 reps, or sometimes I'll do like the ab roll out with a wheel, but I just go between them 3 exercises: the ab roll out, the hanging leg raises, and the decline crunch. But yeah. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do sort of like a day of eating. I'm just going to go through my meals, show you my macros for those of you that care, and we're also going to get in a push session. Yeah. Oh yeah. So the reason why I obviously do the abs and why I think it's so important. So for me, I've never really had the best abs. Like when I was younger, all I cared about were getting big, like adding on muscle. Even though I didn't really add on that much, I had a little bit. But the main focus was never the abs. I always see abs as something that like guys did to try to get girls, and all I wanted to do was get massive. But now I'm back into competing. What I've realised more than anything is how important it is to keep that fucking waist tight, especially when you're getting bigger. Let me just switch arms because this arm's getting the fucking pump of death. So yeah, keeping your waist tight when you're growing is so important, man. You see so many guys like get big, and because they can't keep the waist tight, or if the waist grows with everything else, it just fucking kills the look, man. It kills it. But yeah, there's no more impressive than being big, like big, nice, bubbly muscle, but having that tight midsection as well, and like a good set of abs. So we did start working it, to be fair, after we got off stage last year. but we've continued it and it's even more locked in now. So obviously this year again, if I can put on at least 10, 15, 20 pounds of muscle between stage this year and next year, which I think I can do. I just need to make sure I keep that waist tight, man. And again, it's like one of the first things you look at as well on a physique. It's sort of like, it's the centre of all physiques, isn't it? But yeah, so keeping that tight, so fucking important, guys. So yeah, so don't, like, you can have an attitude of, especially if you've got body fat, oh, there's no point in training abs because you're not going to see them until you're lean. But just like any other muscle, you make progress on them when food's high and in the off season if you're a competitive bodybuilder, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, right, I'm going to finish up on here. I'm going to do another 5 minutes, so do 45 minutes in total. I just find that, so when I go outside and do a walk, because it's a little bit hilly around where I live, I just think it's a little bit more beneficial outside, and it takes me like 30 minutes. So what I do is to try and make up for that, I'll just do a little bit more when I'm doing the walk pad. But yeah, end of the day, like especially now, we do aim for 10k steps a day. So minimum 10k steps a day. And to be fair, the main reason is just digestion really. It's a little bit of output. Obviously it's good for heart health, but we want to make sure that we're utilising all the food and we're helping everything move about. But yeah, 5 more minutes of this and then you'll see what breakfast is. Right, here we have it, meal 1, breakfast. So can you see that? Some good nutrients there. So what I've got here, I've got 2 full eggs, I've got 110 grams, probably a little bit more of sushi rice. We've got 150 grams raw weight of the 3% beef mince. We've got a bell pepper and we've got 50 grams spinach. So the reason why I say probably a little bit more sushi rice is what I do is I put my total daily sushi rice in the rice cooker every morning, and then I sort of like guesstimate like how much to put in each meal. But what I do like to do is, so I'll have the biggest amount in my pre-workout. So say at the moment I've got it in meal 1 pre-workout, and then one of my evening meals I'll have the biggest amount in my pre-workout, the second biggest amount in this meal, and then I'll have like a smaller portion in that evening meal, where like at the end of the, like in prep, as it gets towards the end of the day, my appetite's crazy high. But what I notice at this point at what I'm at now, in the evening I'm not as hungry and I'm just trying to sort of like chill out. And I do notice as well in an evening, obviously, especially when my food starts getting high, I don't like to have too much food as I end up feeling like bloated. But yeah, and then we've got a little bit of garlic powder on it. We've got a shitload of black pepper because I see Jay Cutler do it, and we've got some salt on as well. And then we're also gonna, so I don't know if any of you've seen this, but this is bad boy, this 0 added sugar, salt and ketchup. Yeah, 0, no added sugar or salt. Bad boy. Per 100 grams, 6 grams of carbs in 100 grams. So in 15 grams, there's not even 1 gram of carbs in it. So with this, like in prep I go through phases where I'll sort of like, I might weigh my sauces depending what they are, but we don't need to weigh this if there's fucking no in it. A nice healthy dose of ketchup on it. So yeah, and it's 0.01 gram of sugar, gram of salt, sorry, per 15 grams. So I don't even need to think about that. And then obviously we've got decaf coffee. I don't really rate caffeine that much personally. I might have a black coffee pre-workout, but that's sort of like as far as I go with that. But yeah, I rate a decaf in the morning. More so for just like I like the taste of it, and it helps a bit with digestion, I think. And then, so these, just wanted to show you these, in my opinion, your two most important supplements as a bodybuilder, especially if you're assisted, yeah. So obviously you want your omegas, your fish oils, everything that we do pretty much, like your training, well, everything that we do, it's not that we do much. Your training and obviously taking gear, it causes inflammation. There's nothing better than omega-3s to help reduce that inflammation. So yeah, so fucking important, man. Yeah, and for your heart health, so fucking important. And then, so these from Gas Mark 10, the heart support. For me, the main ingredient in these is the vitamin D. Obviously, we've got as citrus bergamot in, again, super important. CoQ10, super important, and a couple other things. But your citrus bergamot, like when you, especially if you're taking gear, help protect you, and your D3. Your D3 is so fucking important for. I keep saying that. Your D3 is so important, just for like literally almost all processing in the body. And what you do find is if you do take gear, and you do train hard, or both, and you live in somewhere where it's not sunny all the time, like the fucking UK, that does actually deplete your D3 levels. So again, that's something that you need to supplement. So it's one of them where it's like, no matter how much fish you eat or good fats you have, you can't get the amount of omega-3s from food that you want to have, really. I have 6 of these in the morning and 6 of these on an evening. So yeah, just to put into perspective how much you actually need, or how much I think you need. And then again, D3, I'll have upwards of like 20,000 IU a day. So fucking important. You know, it's since I've started supplementing them religiously, I've just found that my blood's so much fucking better, man. My blood's just so much better. And yeah, and then with my breakfast, so eggs for breakfast. Obviously, you can't beat that. We've got good, nice digesting carbs with the rice. Beef, top quality protein source, and obviously we've got a bit of spinach and bell pepper. But yeah, I'll mix this up. If say one day I'm in a rush, I might have like oats or cream of rice, or even buckwheat with maybe even like whey and almond butter and berries. To me, as long as I'm getting like the protein, the good quality protein, a nice digesting carb source that sits well, and then I always try and include some sort of like veg or fruit. If it's fruit, ideally berries, but yeah, and then obviously a good fat source. Obviously here we've got the eggs, but if I were gonna have sort of like a sweet meal, like the whey or like the whey and cream of rice or whey and oats, I'd have the almond butter. But yeah, to me, eggs and beef, man. It don't get better than that, does it? It don't get better than that. But yeah, so for those of you that are interested, I will shove it up in the I'll edit it into the video. But protein in this meal, we've got like 56 grams of protein. Again, it might be a little bit more. 92 grams of carbs and 15 grams of fat. So in total, 727 calories for this meal. Just a nice balanced meal for us to start the day. But yeah, right, I'm gonna eat this and then I'll be back with you for the pre-workout meal so you can see what I'm having before I train. Right guys, we're back. So second meal of the day, pre-workout meal. A little bit later than usual today, so it's 1 PM today. I usually like to get this in around 12, and then I train, so I like to get to the gym for about 1:30. So I train usually 60 to 90 minutes after I've had this. In prep, what I actually do is I'll have my meal on the way in the car, just because the meal usually don't fill me enough. So if I leave it too long a gap, I end up feeling like I'm going to starve to death with my session. But no, seriously, in prep, I've always got. I got into the habit a few years ago of having my pre-workout meal in the car on the way to the gym. And then there come a time in prep where I can't remember if Cuba told me to do it and tried to have a little bit longer between, because I was literally eating pre-workout meal on the way there, and then I'd start training probably like 30 minutes later, and I felt good from doing that. But then Cuba wanted me to try having my meal more like 60 to 90 minutes before. And in prep, when I tried it in prep, and it was sort of like maybe not the best time to try and implement it. And I remember as I was starting training, I remember feeling like my blood sugar was crashing. Like it wasn't good anyway. It wasn't good. So continued through prep, eating my pre-workout meal on the way to the gym in the car. But then, since food's been a bit higher, I've been able to have a bit more time between eating and training. Not that it really matters. Obviously, everyone's different. I know some bodybuilders that they'll have like 90 minutes, 2 hours between the pre-workout meal and training. Samson Dowda is well known for literally eating his meal 15 minutes before he trains. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. Whatever works for you, right? So what we've got here, take a look at that bad boy meal. So I'll tell you what we've got. We've got chicken breast. We've got 150 gram raw weight, which is sort of like 110 cooked. We've got 140 grams sushi rice. We've got 50 gram of almond butter. We've got 100 gram of, so the almond butter is actually the coconut and almond butter. I don't know if any of you had it, but if you haven't had it, you need to fucking try it, because it doesn't just taste like normal almond butter. It's bad. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, we've got 15 gram almond butter. We've got 100 gram of pineapple, and then usually we have 100 gram of banana. But I checked this morning, and I believe that Emma's given the last banana to Charlotte. So what we've done is instead we've just swapped that for 30 gram of dates, which is roughly the same amount of carbs. 100 gram banana, about 20 gram carbs. 30 gram dates, about same, 20 gram carbs. Yeah, then we've got salt on. We've got about 1.5 grams of salt, and we've got cinnamon on as well. But yeah, a lot of people seem to hate on me for mixing the like the pineapple and the banana with the chicken and the rice. But if you haven't done it before, you need to try it, man. And yeah, dates is a good one too. There's no wrong with mixing a bit of sweet and savoury together. And then what I've also started doing, and I think this has helped so the reason why I started eating originally my pre-workout meal like on the way in the car is when my food were high years ago, I'd eat the meal before I trained, and then if I'd be sat down, said watching TV, next thing you know, I'd be fucking falling asleep. And sometimes I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up and it'd be like 3 hours later and I'd be like, fuck, I need to train now, and then eating for 3 hours. So I just started and I think it obviously due to my body's natural insulin, whatever, and my blood sugar's spiking and crashing, whatever. Nothing to do with taking insulin, that. And yeah, and I just found that eating on the way in the car were the best way to sort of resolve that. And then sometimes again, if I ate before and sat off in the car, I'd be driving the car, and then I don't know if any of you guys get it, but I can be driving, and it's like when it's super sunny, and I start falling asleep when I'm driving. But yeah, obviously it's just your blood sugar spiking in it. But since I've started, I've never had a GDA before. I always used to think they were rubbish. I just thought like a gimmick. But since I've been having this, the Gas Mark 10 cheat code GDA, which literally just a glucose disposal agent. It just helps your body utilise the carbs more, but I just find that it prevents those crashes, man. So I can have this meal. I'll set off to the gym in probably 30-40 minutes. It'll probably take me about 40 minutes to get there, and I don't feel like I'm gonna crash. My blood sugars stay stable. But yeah, highly recommend a GDA, and especially the Gas Mark 10 one, obviously, because we're sponsored by Gas Mark 10. If you want to get a bit of a discount on it, code Tom10 at checkout. But yeah, honestly, since I started using that, it's made a massive difference. Like I say, I'm not like, when my food's high, I'm not feeling like I'm wanting to fall asleep all the time. It helps massively. And then also what we've got here, we've got a black coffee. Like I said, I don't really have that much. This is the most caffeine I'll ever have. The most caffeine I ever have in a day, in prep off season, is a black coffee. When prep starts, usually what I do is I avoid caffeine altogether until I get to a point where I really sort of like need it. I think at the moment it's just sort of like habit more than anything else. But yeah, like one thing what I noticed it the other year when I was in prep, and what I did is I took a load of loads of fat burners in the morning one day. I think I was about 12 weeks out. I might have started prep about 15 weeks out, and I was about 11, 12 weeks out, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this fat burner this morning. And I took it, I think I did it for like a good sort of like 5 days, a week maybe. And I was taking it in the morning, and what were happening was I was doing nothing else different whatsoever, yeah. And my body fat went super low, my food went super low. And I felt fine when I was on it. It's like cardio flies. Like, I don't know about you, but when I have caffeine, and especially when it's a lot of caffeine, like time just goes so fast. Like I remember when I used to PT, and I got into a habit of having, I used to personal train people on the gym floor, and I got into a habit a few times after lockdown of having like one of them monsters, and fucking hell, like 3 sessions felt like it took 30 minutes. But yeah, for me personally, not a good habit to get into. But yeah, and then what I noticed is from having all that caffeine before my cardio in the morning, I'd get to the end of my day. Well, not even the end of the day. I'd get to about sort of like 5, 6 o'clock, and I'd fucking start crashing. But like feeling like fuck me, I can't even keep my eyes open, like bad. And then all I did is I pulled the fat burner in the morning, with the very high caffeine, and it made a massive difference, man. It made a massive difference. My energy levels are a lot more stable now. And like I said, the most I'll have is a black coffee, and there's not, compared to like an energy drink, or compared to like some fat burners on the result market, you're not getting hardly any caffeine in comparison. But yeah, simple as that. Right. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to eat this, I'm going to take my time, have my black coffee, and we're watching a new podcast. It's the Ifbb Hammer. I don't know if any of you guys watch it. This one's James Hollinshead and Justin Shire, however you say his name. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy watching this, and I'm going to enjoy eating this. And like I said, if you haven't mixed the pineapple and the banana before, you need to try it. And don't be afraid of putting some cinnamon on top too. So I don't know whether it makes a difference, but I remember hearing it somewhere that I think it's Ceylon cinnamon, is the one that you get all the benefits from, not the one that you get in like the little shakers, the little things, where the herbs and spices that you get from a supermarket. So if you're getting cinnamon, you want to get the Ceylon cinnamon, because that's the one that's sort of like the real deal. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy this, right? So yeah, that's pre-workout meal, and we'll see you in the gym. Can't be missing out the car talk, can we? Right, let's get this going. Right, nearly at the gym. Pre-workout shake about to go down. So we've got the Gas Mark 10, we've got Pitbull pumped. As you know, like I said, I don't really like to smash a load of caffeine, so this is like a non-stim pre-workout that I like to do. Obviously I've had a black coffee with my pre-workout meal, but like I said, that's as far as I go when it comes to caffeine. And that's just how I feel. That's so, like, again, if I have clients that want to have caffeine, I do try and get them to limit it. because I do think too much of it can fuck you, especially if you're in prep. But yeah, just one of those. So yeah, we've not talked yet today about the PEDs, the PEDs, because obviously that's something that you all want to know, and what it takes, and what we're taking on this mission to become an Ifbb pro, an open Ifbb pro. That's the goal. That is the goal. And Sam, what's this guy doing? Go on, lads. 5'7", which is probably, it's like that on the edge, isn't it? So like most 212 bodybuilders are sort of like 5'6" and below, and then most, well, you'd argue the best men's open bodybuilders are sort of like 5'8" and above. But saying that, we've got Derek and Hadder these past few years that have been killing it for the fucking Short Kings. And I think they're about 5'7". They're about 5'7". But yeah, what are we taking? So at the moment, we're sort of at our peak doses. So currently we're taking a gram a test. We're taking 800 primobolan and 800 masteron. So it's one of them where I'd say it's not a lot, but it is like the most amount I've ever taken. Like I said, it won't be going higher than this. This is sort of like the peak PED dose. Yeah, but saying that, like, if from Masteron and Primo we've got 1600 milligram in total, 1600 milligram from Mast and Primobolan is a lot different than, say, 1600 milligram from fucking Tren or MPP. You couldn't even take, I don't even think you could take half of that without even really feeling it. But yeah, like Masteron, and the good things about Masteron and Primo are you can sort of like really push them with minimal side effects in comparison to your other drugs, like your 19 NORs, like I say, like your Tren, which I try and stay away from altogether if you can. Tiny little bit when body fat's super low in that last sort of like 4 to 6 weeks of prep. But yeah, in off season, some people like EQ. The only issue with EQ is you've got to be careful when you're pushing it up, because it does sort of like bring down your estrogen, and it can bring it down quite aggressively. So like with a ratio to test and EQ, I'd say like a 3-to-2, even like a 2-to-1 sort of ratio, you want to be running your test at. Because if you start pushing up your EQ too high and your estrogen is too low, you just can't recover, man, and it makes it impossible to make progress. But yeah, but same if your estrogen's too high, yeah, you'll know either way. If it's too low, if it's too high, you genuinely fucking know about it. But yeah, Primo and Masteron quite high. This is the highest I've ever run them. But we do feel good. We do feel good. Progress every week. I'm going to get my bloods done in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see what they're saying. If certain levels are too high, we might even reduce test a little bit and up Masteron a little bit. But we'll see, because I feel like I'm tolerating it quite well. And then apart from that, we're taking we're doing 12.5 IU of growth. So I've been doing 7.5 IU of Pharma. And then a few weeks ago, Cuba wanted me to up it to 12.5 IU. So what I thought I'd do is save a little bit of money, because I've seen through like guys with experience and guys doing studies and that on themselves, whatever. If you've got a legitimate source of growth hormone, whether it be Pharma or UGL, like your 100 IU kits, there's no difference in the results that you get. The only difference that I do notice is so on both of them, I do notice that, like, especially more so when food's high. When I'm in a deficit, I don't notice it as much, but when food's high, I do notice that I start feeling a bit more sort of like swollen, especially like my hands and my wrists and shit. But what I'd notice more with the kits is that as soon as I go over a certain amount with the kits, I start holding a shitload of water. And not only do I start holding a shitload of water, because I do a little bit anyway, obviously from the farmer. But what I notice is I start getting really bad carpal tunnel. But I do find as well, like the leaner I am, the less that's an issue. But yeah, because there were times where last year where we pushed my growth to I think we were doing 10 IU of the kits. And fucking hell, my sleep was just shit. My sleep was shit, man. Like I was literally waking up constantly, like I couldn't feel my fucking hands. And I always thought, oh yeah, great, be a good thing. And I also thought that that's what you should get from all growth. But what I do notice is when it's a bit purer, so when it's the farmer stuff, you get it a little bit, but not to the extent. And I think it's due to the thickening. This is what I've been told, that it's due to sort of like the thickening agents in the powder, and sort of like what they mix it with to create the powders. But yeah, one of those things. And then as well as the 12.5 IU of GH, we're taking 10 IU of Lantus in the morning, which is like your long-acting insulin, which don't spike, so it's not the way I see it is it's very different to sort of like your normal like when guys talk about insulin, talk about how dangerous insulin can be, exogenous insulin. It's more so like your Novorapid, your Humalog. If you're not careful, you can fuck yourself with the fast acting stuff. But with the long acting stuff, it's more so. To be fair, the long acting stuff more so sort of like helps your body with. So for example, like when you're taking your growth, too much growth, especially when your carbs are super high, it can actually make you insulin resistant. So it can actually long term high dose growth hormone, if not managed properly with high dose carbs, especially if you get a little bit fat, whatever, you can go diabetic from it. But what the Lantus does that we're taking, what the insulin does is, it just, as well as helping take the stress off the pancreas, it sort of like prevents that. Prevents that from the growth hormone. So it keeps us obviously insulin sensitive, so we can just uptake food better. But yeah, that's the very, very scientific way of explaining it. Right. But yeah, and then what else are we taking? So we're taking 25 milligram of Proviron a day. Proviron's something that you can run pretty much all year round, with little to no side effects, no effects on bloods really. We're taking telmisartan. That just makes sure that as blood pressure stays under control, especially when weight's going up fast. That's I've said it before many times, but the real stress on the body, from steroids, it's not the actual taking of the steroids and the milligrams or whatever you're taking, it's the weight gain that comes with it. Like, if you gain weight fast, and your body's not healthy, and you're not getting rid of that inflammation, it puts stress on you, it puts stress on your heart, which puts stress on your kidneys, and that's why it's like your kidney health and your heart health, they both go hand in hand, and it's fucking, It's just fucking so important, man. So yeah, the telmisartan helps prevent your blood pressure from going too high, which in turn obviously protects the heart, protects the kidneys, as well as everything else that obviously all the other health supplements that we're taking, and the cardio we do, and not getting fat, not putting no stupid weight on. I keep on hearing it's like people hating on guys that want to stay lean and not eat shit and not eat cheat meals. But if you're one of these guys that likes to dirty bulk, like you think Lee Priest does, like you think Lee Priest did back in the day, yeah, compare your bloods to somebody that's doing exactly the same everything else, but not eating shit, and I guarantee you your bloods will be a lot worse. So yeah, that's the thing to bear in mind, yeah. And that was my getting back into competing. I always said to myself, like, 34, 35. I can't, like, how much can I actually progress? Because, like, what I'm going to take is obviously just going to be so detrimental to my health. But when you realise that a lot of the time it's the eating shit and the junk food and the binging that fucks your health, and you can actually be very healthy whilst being on cycle or being on gear in general, then, you know what I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? But yeah, and that's sort of like the way I like to do things. Like I get guys asking me all the time, oh, how long should I run this for? How long should I run? You know what I mean? But it shouldn't really be like that. That's a bit of an old school way of thinking when you don't have access to all the things that we have access to these days. So nowadays it's more a case of like monitor your bloods, see where they are at the beginning, see where they are sort of like 6-8 weeks into what you're taking. Try and take things to mitigate those factors. If you get things going in the right direction and things are like everything's looking good, do you necessarily need to come off? You know what I mean? It's one of them. Obviously there is times in that where arguably you do want to have little breaks for your receptors and that, and just sort of like general stress on the body. And I find that that's good sort of like at the end of each phase. So like after the prep, I like to have a good like 4 to 6 weeks, like we did, where we're just running sort of like a low testosterone base, and then similar sort of thing. So we'll probably do like I say, if we're doing like a 6-month push-up, like 24 weeks, call it. At the end of them 24 weeks, we will probably get bloods done. Well, obviously we get bloods done every 6 to 8 weeks anyway, but we will get bloods done, and then regardless of what the bloods are saying, we will drop down to like just a test base again. Probably something like 400 milligram a week, so not TRT. The thing is with a TRT dose, yeah, if your body is holding a lot more, like if you've added a lot of muscle to your frame, yeah, especially compared to where your sort of like natural limitations are at, if you drop onto like a pure TRT of like 125 a week or lower than 200 a week, you're gonna lose some of that muscle. Fact, your body can't hold on to that amount of muscle without testosterone. So like I say, if we're dropping from what we're taking now to like 400 milligram for like a good 4 to 5 weeks, and we get all those blood markers as health, make sure that's fully on point, we can actually do almost like a cruise or like a health phase without technically coming off. That's the way I like to see it. It's like, why fully come off and cause your body so much stress anyway, if you can sort of like find ways to stay healthy whilst you're on. But yeah, right, I'm going to finish drinking this. We're going to do a little 10-minute walk, and I believe today, what am I feeling for abs today to start with? We'll probably do 2 sets of leg raises and 2 sets of decline crunch, and then we're going to start with this push session. Come on. Let's go. 15 just. Fuck. Let's down that way, 2 more sets. Oh, fuck. 13. Do another set on that. Fuck, man. It's like the high reps just feel so much fucking better on side laterals, man. I've gone through the fucking 8 to 10 phase. That 10 to 15 range is where it's at. If you can keep your composure and stay accurate and don't get sloppy with them. Fuck, man. Oh, fuck. Yeah, man. Oh. That'll do. Done a little warm up, just like 5 or 6 reps, and about 60-70% of the weight. Let's fucking full send this now. Full stack plus 10. Right. Oh, let's go. Want to get a bit of a squeeze on these as well. Oh yeah, that'll do. Come on. Oh, chest. Right. Have a little rest. We're going to go same again. We're going to go that way. We're just going to change the these things slightly. So we're going to be doing beginning, middle range. Come on. Fuck me. Lights your chest up that. Let's see what we can do. I've got another set on this today. Have a big rest. then we'll go again. Same again. I feel like I've got fucking belt on properly. Right, let's go. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck me. Right, big rest. Incline Smith next. See what we can do. Oh yeah, man. Oh. Felt good that. Felt good that. You know what it is? I do believe obviously everyone's different, but for me, what I've noticed with chest, overloading that sort of like 6 to 10 rep range, that's where my chest grows the most. That's how I built my chest. Literally like 6, 7, 8 reps. I never even used to go above like fucking 8, to be fair. But I never went below 6. But yeah, man. Right. Yeah, well, we'll stay on that weight. Stay on that weight. Again, for me, a sweet spot on these, I find sort of like that 10 to 15 zone. Same again. Right, shortened range done. Now for an overhead movement. Have a little rest, we'll do another set on that. I think I'm going to put the bench a tiny bit lower. the one set of skull crushers, like flat. Right, one set of these. Let's make it a good one. That feels better. Oh yeah. Oh. Grocery carbs, or at least fucking try to. If it feels good, do another set. Oh, fuck me. Right, let's check the pump. Good session today, man. Yeah, man. Chest nice and full. Right, let's stop fooling around and let's go get us post-workout meal. And I've got to go get Charlotte from nursery. Bad boy session. Bad boy session. Right, we can't be too long because, like I said, we're picking little C up from nursery. We're in Bradford now, and nursery is in Huddersfield, and it's saying it takes 45 minutes to get there. That's the problem with training a little bit later, man. Like now it's 5:15. We're going to be balls deep in that rush hour traffic, but it is what it is. We've got us a meal. I'm going to tell you what's in it. And we remembered a spoon today because for some reason yesterday we fucking forgot a spoon, didn't we? Right, so what we have here is we have 150 gram cereal or 150 gram cream of rice, yeah. Here what we have today, we've got 100 gram of Rice Krispies, and then we've got 50 grams of Morrison's Special K. I noticed that the Morrison's own brand Special K, it just has more rice content than the actual, is it Kellogg's Special K? Yeah. But yeah, same sort of thing. Post-workout you want it to digest good. I don't like having too much sugars. I don't like having too much fibre either post-workout. We want it to sort of like digest quick and sit good. Right, and then also what we've got here, and it also wants to be easy to eat as well, and you want to fucking enjoy it. And also it wants to be low in fat. We like to have a low fat meal post-workout. So here we've got 100 grams of blueberries, 100 grams of raspberries. They were frozen, but obviously now they're not, but that's a good thing. And also, so again, similar sort of situation to earlier, I usually have a banana in here, so I usually have 100 grams of banana, but what we've done instead, we've put 30 grams of dates in. So we've got the same amount of carbs, but from dates, yeah. You can say there's benefits of dates, the potassium in and whatever. But they digest good. And it's fruit in it. Fruit, easy digestible carbs. But yeah, man. Right, and then to go with this, we have this protein shake. We've got 50 grams of lemon cheesecake whey. Yeah, lemon cheesecake. That's what we've got. I forgot what it was fucking called then, but yeah. The lemon cheesecake whey from Gasmart 10, bad boy. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend you do so. Get over to the Gasmart 10 website. You know what to do. Code Tom10. Get yourself a little bit of a discount, but also help support your boy on his journey. Every little helps. Every little helps. Right. And also what I've got is I've got about 1.5 grams of salt in that. Yeah. Obviously we all know salt, one of the most important nutrients, minerals, whatever you want to call it, that we need. It just helps transport everything. Yeah, pretty simple as that. And then obviously, like, I don't think I've shown you it, but I had, where is it? It's in back in my bag. We had the intra when we train, and in the intra we have 25 grams of EAAs, 10 grams of creatine, 5 grams of glutamine, and we have 30 grams of Big Dog. So really, when we train, it's the Big Dog. That's the key ingredient really. It's carbs, electrolytes. Basically, it's sort of like it's a hydration powder. When you train, that should be the main thing. Like, if you could only have one of them things, whether it be like your creatine, obviously creatine is important. That's my sort of like, that's one of the supplements like I highly recommend. But you can take that sort of any time of day. Obviously we had some at morning as well. At the moment we're having about 30 grams a day of that. Studies have shown lately that there's no fucking negative side effects with it. The worst that can happen is it probably gives you shits. But studies have shown lately that there's so many benefits of creatine, especially in that 20 to 30 gram range, and not just for bodybuilders trying to grow muscle. Like, I think there was a study on like menopausal women and showed how good it were for your health. But yeah, good for cognitive function as well, good for the fucking brain. And I also seen something that it's particularly good if you're sleep deprived. So yeah, lots of benefits of creatine. Make sure you're fucking having it. But yeah, the main ingredient for when we're having the intra workout is the Big Dog. because like I said, it's carbs and electrolytes, and to be fully hydrated, obviously you want water, carbohydrates, electrolytes. Simple as that. Simple as that. Right. I should put the macro should be on the screen somewhere so you can see what's in this meal, and in the intro. But yeah, we're gonna eat this. There's a new podcast that's just popped up, the Real Bodybuilding Podcast with Fouad, Ian Valier, Paul, and Mike Van Wyck, maybe. Yeah, man. So I highly recommend that. If you're into bodybuilding, it's good to watch. But you probably watch it already. But yeah, right. Let's go get Charlotte, and then we'll be on for when we get back. Meal 4. But yeah, man. Right. Speak soon. Yes, guys, we're back. Right. Meal 4. Meal 4, yeah. So what we've got here, we've got 140 cooked weight chicken breast. We've got 300 grams sweet potato raw weight. Just hold on a minute, hold on. We've got 100 grams pineapple. We've got 50 grams of spinach. And we've got 40 grams of kimchi in there as well. And then we've also got a little bit of this. Bad boy sauce. Not too much though, not too much. We've got a shitload of black pepper and then a bit of salt on as well. One thing what I try and do if I can, I'll always try and include a bit of sweet potato in my diet. Like it just, the amount of, I think it's vitamin A. The amount of vitamin A it has, not many foods have that. So if you can get a lot of good quality nutrition from whole foods, I advise that you try and squeeze it in. And also, so you find that like a lot of bodybuilders, what's sometimes easy to do, and which I fall into the trap of during prep quite a lot, is for every meal, picking sort of like rice-based foods, simply because they digest good, obviously they're easy to make, they taste good, but if you're not careful, if all you do is eat the same food, you do build up intolerances, and you can fuck up your gut doing that as well. So for those of you that just love chicken and rice and then protein and creamy rice, try and mix it up a little bit. So at the moment, most days we do rice, we do sweet potato, we do potato as well, white potato on an evening. Sometimes we'll do buckwheat. We'll do post-workout. Like I said, it is sort of like rice-based. And then yeah, sometimes as well, what I do is what I think I'm going to do today with my last meal, I'll do a corn. So you'll see what I do with that. And instead of my usual last meal of beef and potatoes, which obviously I'm not going to lie, beef and potatoes is a good meal, but we're still getting beef into the next meal. But last meal, what we're going to do today, we're probably going to have Greek yogurt. We'll have some fruit in that. We'll have some almond butter in that, and we'll get the carbs from corn cakes in that because they digest good and it's a slightly different carb source. But yeah, meal 4, and the macro should be up on the screen. Right, I'm going to eat this and then I'll see you on the next meal. Right, meal 5. So what we've got here, we've got 200 gram raw weight, 3% beef, with the rest of the sushi rice, which is meant to be like 110. We've got 100 gram pineapple, 50 gram of spinach, and then we've got some chimichurri seasoning, and we've got a little bit of ketchup in there as well. Bad boy meal, nice and simple. Again, we've got the pineapple in, the spinach in. You know what, I never used to, like, I imagine like a lot of you, I could never be asked with like veg or fruit in meals. And even though obviously, like I said, it tastes nice and that, but I could never be asked doing it. But since I've been doing it, the biggest thing I've noticed is just my health, man. Like my blood work since I've started implementing things like this, it's been sort of like night and day difference. But yeah, definitely recommend it if you're not doing it already. Obviously variety is best, but just make sure you include a little bit of something with each meal. Like I said, at least 50, I like 50 gram of veg, or 100 gram of like berries or pineapple. I have that as sort of like a rule of thumb. But yeah, right. So there you go, meal 5, and the macros should be on the screen if I manage to do it. Right, last meal of the day. Like I said, I usually mix it up between beef and potato, avocado. Sometimes I'll have cream of rice and whey, but today I'm gonna treat myself. Yeah, so 450 gram Greek yogurt or skyr yogurt, 0%. We've melted in the microwave 100 gram of blueberries, so 100 gram frozen blueberries, 100 gram frozen raspberries, and we've chopped up an apple in there as well. We've got all that mixed in. We've also added a little bit of flavour drops. Don't know if anyone uses these, but these are bad boy. Then what we're also going to do, so we're going to make the carbs up from, got a little bit of the no added sugar muesli. We're going to do 20 gram of this. This is like ultimate if it fits your macros meal, this. No, it's not that bad. Right, 20, let's do 25 gram of that. In that there's like raisins, oats, almonds, hazelnuts. But macros are pretty good. Per 100 grams, 5 grams of fat, 63 gram of carbs, 11 gram of protein, and we've only got 25 grams in there. Right. And then what we're gonna have for the rest of the carbs, yeah, these bad boys. So sometimes I'll do these, sometimes I'll do the rice cakes, and basically what I'll do is I'll just crunch up, if I can fucking get into it, the remainder of the carbs from here. So what I'll do is 75 gram of carbs, not 75 gram of these. So let's fucking get these in. Yeah, dog licking ball, drinking his water. Right, mate. He thinks it's for him. Unfortunately not, lad. There's a lot of pros and cons about having a dog. The main pro is that if you ever drop it on the floor, it cleans it straight up. To the point where sometimes I'll go away, I'll drop some on the floor and I'll be like, where is it? But yeah, right. So we've got them in. Let's mix them down a little bit. Trust me, you need to try this meal. Like I said, if it fits your macro style meal with decent food choices. To be fair, when I worked with Stefan, boss of Outlaw, and I'm sure anyone who's worked with Stefan knows this because he probably did the same, but throughout the whole time I worked with him, the protein source in the last meal was 0% fat Greek yogurt, and that was in prep as well, and we got peeled and dry. Right, and then we're gonna have, so this, if you don't know, get to know. So we're gonna do 25 gram of this. Again, this is like the fucking, I wouldn't say the secret ingredient, but I have this all the way through prep, all the way through off season. What I even do is if I'm going away, I even take it with me. So then I don't have to have like normal almond butter or whatever. But honestly, this is the baddest. Can hear dog sniffing. Masks my heavy breathing. Right, 25 grams of that. Come on, you bastards. especially good this meal if you're hungry. And like I said, it feels like a little bit of a treat. It's like a dessert. Right, we've got that on. And then the finishing touch. So in 100 grams of this, there's 13 gram of carbs, no fat, no protein. So 13 gram of carbs in 100. So in 10 grams of it, there's 1.3 gram of carbs. So we can get away with a good 20-30 grams. Just go like 30 grams there. And then there you have it. Look at that beast. Right. I'm not gonna sit down at the table and eat this. I'm gonna sit down, find something on Netflix or on my Fire Stick, and chill the fuck out. So yeah, like I said, if I've managed to do it, you should see the macros for the day in the corner of the screen. Yeah, and what I'll do is, before I have this meal, I'll have my last supplements that I have. My Big Dreams from Gasmart 10. I'll have a bit of vitamin C, some magnesium, and I'll also have some melatonin. I've been doing 50 gram melatonin at the moment, and I've been finding the sleep quality is so much better. And then sometimes I do it before, sometimes I do it after. It doesn't really matter if you're doing it sub-Q, because I think it's meant to peak at like 4 hours, I think. But I'll probably when after I've had this, actually, I'll take my growth. Yeah, so that's it. A day of eating. I hope you've enjoyed it. Right, like I said, I'm going to enjoy this. Right, what have we got tomorrow? Well, legs tomorrow, and I think I'm training at a different gym. So stay tuned and like and subscribe. Right, nice one, guys. Peace out.